Hello, welcome. This is part 2 of my declutter series. I'm going to be doing my eyeshadows. So if you like my declutter series, it would help me out a lot if you went ahead and liked the video. And also subscribe for more videos like this one. And let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the living room. These are all of my eyeshadow palettes. I believe last time I counted I had 51 eyeshadow palettes, which really just makes me want to yeah, so that's what we're going to be decluttering today. Eyeshadow palettes are really hard for me to get rid of, so I'll see what the best I can do is. I cannot promise you a lot, but I will do my very best. And I just sorted this out like this so I could take a nice lovely thumbnail, but I think I'm going to more practically sort this out and then start with the decluttering process. So that is what I will do. I will speed through this part. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the Pat McGrath stuff. I'm mostly not going to be getting rid of this one. This one quad I have is the Fleur Fantasia quad. I really love it. I feel like they're nice and wearable shades. Of course, not getting rid of that one. And next I have 3 full-size Pat McGrath palettes. I have the Divine Rose 2, Utopian Dream, the newest of the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. She's beautiful. And then my new favorite, I just got this one during the Pat McGrath sale. This is the Bronze Seduction, I believe is what it's called. Definitely not getting rid of any of these. Too expensive, way too expensive. I also have one of the Pat McGrath Mega Mothership palettes. She just started doing this style of palette, I believe last Christmas during 2020. And this is what it looks like. It's kind of the more purpley one of the two. She also came out with one this year for 2021. I have not picked that one up yet. I just feel like I don't need it, but it looks so pretty. I really want to pick it up. We'll see how it goes. It doesn't matter. You guys don't care. Okay, so I guess I'll move on to my next little stock. This is just miscellaneous long palettes. They kind of nicely go together. So I have 2 Charlotte Tilbury palettes. One is the Smoky Eyes Are Forever holiday palette from this year, and then the other one is the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnotize palette from last year, 2020. I'll just go ahead and show you, not getting rid of them. Very pretty. I love the Charlotte Tilbury formula. If you've never tried her shadows before, I recommend you try one of her bigger palettes like these. Just kind of just like effortlessly pretty. Hello? Excuse me? Okay, so keeping these 2. I also have this Melt Gemini palette. This is the kind of brown, orange to green palette. I really love the mattes from Melt Cosmetics. This one does have 2 shimmer formulas, which are not my favorite, but the mattes in this palette are so good that I think that it's worth it. Keeping this one as well. Okay, moving on to a stack that I will probably get rid of every single one of these. So first 2 are 2 drugstore palettes. I don't own very many palettes from the drugstore. 1, there's not really a huge selection, and 2, the ones that I've tried aren't very good. This first one is a Physicians Formula Rose All Play palette. It's a rose palette, obviously. I will be getting rid of this one, but I think when it comes down to it, I have other palettes with all of these tones that look better than this, so there's really no reason for me to keep it. The next one is a Milani Gilded Nude palette. This one, again, a full range of wearable tones. I got quite a bit of use out of it, but again, I tried better palettes, and now I have since replaced these with other palettes that I enjoy more, specifically in the ColourPop brand. Specifically, ColourPop has some really good colors that look just like this, but are a lot better quality. I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. Okay, at the bottom of this stack is the Ciate London, the Editor's palette. This is, again, another classic boxy charm palette. I just don't like it. Something about it that it's not very wearable. Like, I can't really just use this palette. I always feel like I have to grab for something else if I want to make it work. At the end of the day, I don't wear it, and I don't need to have it if I don't wear it. So this is a goodbye. Okay, moving right along. Another Ciate London palette. These little trays pop out all the time, and it just kind of prevents me from using it. I actually really like the formula on this one a lot better. The shimmers are really good, but overall, it's just a really like cheaply made palette, and like you could kind of hear like those are the pans falling in and out of the little case, and it's just a little frustrating to use. So this one is the Velvet palette. It was nice while it lasted, but I am moving on. Goodbye. This is a Wander Beauty palette. This is kind of like a travel palette. Let's see, what is it called? It's called the Getaway Face and Eye palette. So it has 6 eyeshadows, a blush, and a highlighter. I actually really like this for traveling. It is very simple, very compact, and I like it. So I think I'm going to keep it. And it's nice and cute, and it's just not hurting anybody. The next one is a Violet Voss Essentials palette. This one is a really good palette if you want a rainbow palette. So obviously some orange, green, pinks, purples, brown, and black. I just feel like it has all of your basics covered. It is an essentials palette. I like the quality of the eyeshadows as well, and I will be keeping it. I use this a lot. This is a newer palette to me. This is the Lime Crime Venus palette. This one is like a gray, cool tone palette. So I will be keeping this. This is a go-to for cool tones. I have other cool tone palettes, but these are just really unique in my opinion. And also the packaging is just so cute. I mean, look how beautiful that is. Okay, this one I always have such a hard time with. This is the Alamar Cosmetics Spanglish palette. There's just something about these shades that look so interesting to me, and I always want to wear them. So I think I am going to keep it. It does make me happy, and it brings me joy. And isn't that what it's about at the end of the day? I mean, so the next palette is the Juvia's Place No Bounds palette. This is a perfect palette for fall. Really wearable, and the quality is really good. And Juvia's Place is one of those really affordable brands that I feel like you get a lot for your money. So I really like this palette, and I'm going to keep it. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. If I'm being honest, I don't wear this one as much as some of my other palettes, but I do like it, the concept of it. I like Urban Decay first of all, but my husband got it for me and I feel like I have to keep it. So the next one is the Anastasia Sultry palette. I believe this has been discontinued and brought back a couple of times. I bought it whenever it came back. I love the Anastasia eyeshadow formula. It's so good. The shimmers are like none other. The mattes are pretty good as well. And just this whole thing is just so pretty. It's really easy to put together a look. I'm gonna keep it. Next is the Anastasia I need sleep. Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I love the tones in here. Something about the purples and the reds. They're just so wearable. In other palettes, I'd noticed that they're not as wearable. I don't know. Again, the shimmers are incredible, but the mattes in this palette are actually way better, I think. So I will be keeping it. So I have 4 Zoeva palettes. I think the eyeshadow formulas are kind of hit and miss sometimes when it comes to certain palettes. So for example, the Blanc Fusion palette, the eyeshadow quality is not as good as the other 3. So I will be getting rid of the Blanc Fusion and keeping the other 3. So this is what Blanc Fusion looks like. It's a very neutral tone palette, which I already have lots of neutrals in my other palettes, so I don't need it. And also the quality is just not as good as the other Zoeva ones or my other palettes, so goodbye. I'll just go ahead and show the other ones that I am keeping just so you can see them. So this is the Spice of Life palette, probably my favorite out of the other 3. The Opulence palette, really pretty jewel tones. And then the Aristo palette, so nice paired layout, and it's very visually pleasing. So I am for sure keeping the Persona Identity palette. If you watched my fall makeup bag video, this is one of my fall palettes right now. I love it. It's a perfect palette in my opinion. Nice mattes, nice shimmers, full range, nice mid-tones, nice light tones, nice deep tones. Just all together a perfect palette in my opinion. Very, very pretty. We'll be keeping it, no doubt about it. Next is the KKW Beauty Classic palette. I love this palette. It's actually really good, and I don't know if is KKW Beauty even a thing anymore? I don't know. It just mentally in my headspace, this is what I think of when I think of a neutral matte palette. So I think I have to keep it. Next is my Nabla Secret palette. I love this palette. I've already gone on and on in multiple videos about this palette. It's my go-to. I wear it all the time. I wear this for birthdays, I wear this for holidays, I wear this for everything. This is my go-to, and I love her. I like the Nabla side-by-side palette, but not as much as the Secret palette. I like that this one has a better range than the Secret palette, but at the end of the day, I like the quality of the other one better. I think I'm going to keep it in my collection for a little bit longer because I do like it. It's just a different vibe than what I'm used to. Okay, so I think this one has been really difficult for me. I actually really like these Fenty Beauty Moroccan Spice palette. I just don't reach for it as much as I used to. And I think I've had this one for about a year. This palette was given to me by a friend, and I love this palette for the most part. It's just that it's discontinued, you can't get it anymore, and it kind of discourages me from wearing it. So I'm gonna think about this one. I'm just gonna think about this one. So next is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. This is my only big palette from Huda. I actually don't like this palette that much. It's not that I don't like the palette is wonderful, it's just that the formula is not what I expect. But I do like the shades. I don't have any shades quite like this, so I think I will keep this for at least another year and see how it goes. Maybe we'll think about it in 2022's declutter, we'll see. But for now I'm going to keep it and keep getting some more use out of it because, I mean, I paid for it, so like what else do you want me to do? I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna use it. Okay, so these are kind of no-brainers. Do I even need to open these? I'm keeping both of them. It's the Natasha Denona Retro palette and the Natasha Denona Glam palette. So beautiful, lovely, love her. Incredible, spectacular. Keeping both of them. They're just good palettes to have. So we're getting down to the end here. Again, two more no-brainers. I have two M Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palettes. They're little 6-pan palettes. They're just like cute and perfect and can do no wrong. I love the formula on these a lot. So this one is the Venetian Rose, and then this one is the Magic Hour. They're both really pretty and actually very different. I reviewed these on YouTube a while back at this point. So I like both of them and I will keep both of them. Okay. These are all of my ColourPop palettes. So I have 8 total from the brand. These ones are kind of my favorite of them, or most used, I should say. And these ones are kind of like less used. This is the That's Taupe palette. This is a cool tone palette. It's very comparable to the Natasha Denona Glam palette. I like this one for different reasons, mostly because it's smaller and easier to use. I'm keeping it. And this is a Nude Mood palette, almost the exact opposite of That's Taupe. So this is a warm nude palette, which is very different. And I like this one as well. I'll keep this one. The next one is the Flutter By palette. It's very purple and mauve-y and just has some overall really beautiful purple colors in it. And the packaging is so pretty. I really love butterflies, actually. Wormy. Off Melrose palette. This one is probably the newest one to me, I think. Yes. So this one is also really pretty. I've done some really pretty looks with this one. Even though it looks so boring, it is actually really nice. Keeping this one as well. Finally, this last one is the Gather Around Sisters palette. So this one is their Halloween palette that they released last year and then also re-released this year. Obviously keeping this one. My sister got it for me. I love it. It's perfect. For sure keeping these 6. I think if I got rid of any of them, it would be this one. So I'll show you the other 2 that I'm also keeping. So this one is the Lilac You A Lot palette. So this is a full purple palette, just a full cotton candy purple palette. And I think it's really great for purple looks. I mean, it's what I reach for when I'm looking for purple. So I think I'll keep this one. My other palette is the Blue Moon palette. I use this one for my violet costume. It worked beautifully. And again, it's just kind of a staple blue that I don't have in anything else. So I'll keep both of those. This one, I'm also gonna have to think about. I think I'm gonna pray about this one. So yeah, it's actually really pretty. So yeah, I think I will keep that one now that I look at the 2 shimmers. I think they're special enough to keep. Okay, we have got to move quickly, people. We are running out of daylight. So looking at these right away, I know I'm getting rid of my Natasha Denona Ayana palette. There's nothing wrong with the quality. I mean, it's Natasha Denona, like, it's perfect. These aren't my favorite. I have some other favorites that the colors are just a little bit better for my skin tone. Goodbye. I'm also going to keep my Rowan 75 Degrees. So these are cream eyeshadows and they just look really pretty as like one and done shadows all by themselves. And I just think it's a really unique palette. I don't really have a lot of cream eyeshadows and this is one of my favorites, so I'll keep that. I think I will keep this one. This is a Huda Beauty Mint Pastel palette. I don't have shades that look like this and I think this would be perfect for like color series makeup. So I will keep this one around for a little while longer. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter in the shade Star Aura. So I think this one is a very, very boring palette. I feel like I should probably give this to someone else that may appreciate it more. I just don't use it enough. I'll see if my mom wants it. If she doesn't, then I will keep it. That's how I feel about this palette. So the last few, I think it's time for me to get rid of this Wet n Wild Color Icon palette. I use this a handful of times. I like it, I just don't use it. It's so boring and plain. This is in the shade Walking on Eggshells, and it's just all right. Like, that's all I have to say about it. It's a really good value if you don't have a very big collection, but I just don't need it. Okay, another one that's a little redundant for me is this e.l.f. bite-sized eyeshadow palette in the shade Rosewater. I hate this shade. I love these 3 shades. And that's basically all I have to say about it. I mean, like, it's pretty. It's like actually really pretty. I just don't need it. So I'm going to let this one go as well. I'm gonna chunk this across my living room. Do I need this? Do I love this? Do I need it? I'm gonna keep this one. This is the Huda Beauty Khaki Haze palette. When I got this one, I was very disappointed because this was already rubbed off. Like, I don't know what happened in transport. This is the Butter London Natural Goddess palette. And then this one is the Marc Jacobs Fantasine palette. These palettes have nothing in common. I'm going to keep the Butter London palette, and I'm gonna think about these 2 palettes. You know what? I'm gonna keep this palette. I really like the Marc Jacobs formula, and it's my only one that I have from him, so I'm gonna keep it as a reference, and I'm gonna be okay with that. This one, I still don't know. Okay, I decided since I am getting rid of so many already, I will keep this one, and that is how I can live with myself. So these are the 9 palettes that I'll be getting rid of. So yeah, I think that I did a pretty good job. It's more than 10%, so that is good enough for me. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you'd like to see more declutter series. I have obviously all of my skincare, hair care. I could do more of these if you want, is what I'm saying. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you sometime next week. Bye! It's not part 2. I've filmed 0 things. It's gonna get cut right out of there. Okay. Okay. Why do I look giant from this angle? Who am I convincing though? Like, really, who am I convincing?